What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome back to another beautiful podcast. Uh, that's really weird, I guess, to say. Welcome back to Content is King. Your one-stop shop for ideas from a man who barely knows what he's doing half the time. I'll have to come up with something better than that. Welcome. I hope you guys are doing well. If you guys have caught the other two episodes of the podcast, I hope you guys have enjoyed them. If this is your first one, welcome. I hope you enjoy it. Just to let you know who I am, I'm Kilohmz, whatever you want to call me. I've been a content creator for about 5 years. I'm not partnered or anything like that. That's like the Disclosure Act, right? So I'm not partnered or anything like that, but I've been watching the platforms. I've been seeing how things move over the past 5 years, and I would like to take what my struggles have been and what I do and everything like that, and I want to share it with you guys. So I want to go ahead and do all that. So today, I haven't come up with the title for this yet, so that's gonna be the fun part. But today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about content creating and viewer and being a viewer and what that all entails, and basically these different roles and these different aspects of the content space for people to understand what's going on, and basically to give some tips and stuff like that, and some requests of a streamer. Let me put it that way. These would be requests of a streamer to his community and to friends and stuff like that. From stuff I've seen and from people that I've interacted with over the years, and how these things have happened in my life. So, first, it's really cold in my basement. So, first, my big thing is content creating, and it's hard to have this conversation because not everybody is meant to be a content creator. I very wholeheartedly believe that if you're meant to be it, it will be a burning passion that you will be so tenacious that nothing that anybody will ever say to you will stop you from that path. And I think that is a great way to live your life, of sitting there going, no matter what happens, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. Awesome. I believe in you. I don't want anybody to think that I don't. There are some people, though, that are not meant to be content creators. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing whatsoever. They don't have the spark. They try, and it doesn't work. I have plenty of friends who were content creators, and then they stopped. They didn't want to do it anymore. They're just like, I'm done. I'm taking a break. We're done. We're through. It's okay. That's fine. And I respect that. I respect that because it is incredibly hard in this space. Like, I'll pull up a statistic right now, just so I don't like miss and say it. Versus, we're gonna go. Sorry, so I'm checking to basically see if what the Twitch partners versus other way is, which is the thing. You know, that's one of the things that you guys want to get figured out, right? Everybody wants to know. And Twitch versus Mixer, all this stuff. I kind of want to find out how many partners there are. Okay, so maybe that one will help. So how many Twitch partners are there? Okay, so there are roughly, now this is where we're going to get to the little bit of the numbers and the odds. There are 27,000 partners, and there are 150,000 affiliates. Plus, it's above that, but let's go with 27,000. And this is an article I got from TechCrunch. And so basically, if we go with the fact of there being 27,000 partners, and we recognize the fact that there are, how many at 2 million plus. We'll go with 2 million plus. There's 2.2 million unique broadcasts. There were 17,000 partners out of 2.2 million unique monthly broadcasters. There we go. Those are the words I need. So there's 2 million plus broadcasters on Twitch, and 27,000 of them are partnered, which puts you at 1.34% of your clientele is partnered. Now I know Mixer is about the same. So to just put it in perspective, you have a 1% chance of being a partner. Now, if you're already an affiliate, you're doing great because that's only 8%. That's 7.5% are affiliates on a platform. So basically, if you're going to make money on a platform, you have to be within the top 10% of content creators on the platform. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't somebody that's better than you, below or above you. Not. There, for all you know, there could be a hidden gem in the 0 directory while you've got 4 of your friends watching your stream. And that's awesome. And I'm glad that your friends support you. So, but that guy could be amazing. He could also be terrible. I'm just saying. So I guess I'm saying subjectively, the 10% that can get monetization on that platform are the quote unquote best. I'm using air quotes in the video one. There we go. So those 10%, you have to make it into that 10%, which getting affiliate really isn't that hard. But to get into the 1.3, the 1.5% of streamers, the 1.5% of streamers that are partners, those people have something more than the average streamer. And your odds, to put it lightly, is 1.5%. That's realism. Now, do I think anybody that works hard enough and grinds hard enough and does whatever they want to and figures out their brand, figures out how to market it, figures out everything, and it takes them a few years, but they finally they get the break and they do it? Yes, I believe anybody that has a drive for content creation can make it. But 98% of us will not. 98% of us might get really darn close. But by the current statistics, 98% of us will not make it to partnership. And that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. If that scares you, then you might be in the wrong profession. You might be in the wrong profession. And there's nothing wrong with doing this as a hobby. Like doing this as a hobby and getting affiliateship to make some extra money on the side, having a side hustle, if you will. There's nothing wrong with that. Do it. That's great. For those that are going for the full hustle, which by the amount of DMs I got from one of my Facebook ads that I did, there's a lot that want to go full ham. And that's fine. But I want you guys to understand and recognize that there's 1.5% of a platform is what you're looking for. And I just think that needs to be said. Those are your odds. And I'll say that that's probably pretty general across all the platforms, right? I think Facebook might be the only one that's probably skewed because of how their metrics work. And it's a lot different because it's a multi-million to billion people setup where there's thousands upon thousands of millions of people that are possibly going out there, where unique users on Twitch is probably less than 5 million. So just to be on that understanding point is that there's that aspect of there are some platforms where I still think you have a better chance. But we're going to use Twitch's numbers just as our odds to make that point clear, because they're the big boys right now. They are the dogs at play. They're the ones where everybody's going at, and they're the ones that you need to be looking at as an idea of where the community and where the industry can go. Now, that does not mean you shouldn't try. And I want to preface that. I want to say that 5 bajillion times. That doesn't mean I'm asking you to give up. I don't want you to give up. That's fine. I want you, if you feel the burning passion, I want you to go for it. But I'm going to talk about what happens when you choose to give up. What can you do? And then I also want to talk from a viewer perspective of what we want, what content creators, how you can support us as a viewer. Now, the two are slightly connected and they're also disconnected, because the thing is, what seems to be the trend in the industry is that people who try to be a content creator and then realize I can't do this disappear. They just disappear. They stop interacting with their communities. They stop talking to the people that they made friends with. They stop playing games with the people that they became friends with, and they just kind of disappear. Now, life gets in the way. I understand that. You might just not want to be on the platform because you just feel like you're a failure. You're not. You shot your shot. You realized it wasn't for you. You're not a failure ever. If you try to do content creation and you go, that stuff, you got to be crazy or something to try to do it, you're probably in the most sane state of mind out of all of us. Because there's a lot of us out there that just go, I'm going to do it. We have no possible, we have a 1% chance of making it, 2% chance of making it. And we like, bet. Those of us that feel that way, myself included, are slightly off their rocker. And I will respect and I understand full-heartedly that I'm a little bit off my rocker. And I get it. I really do. I get it, and I respect the crap out of anybody that feels like I'm that way. Now, to get back to what I wanted to talk about, which was if you realize that this is not for you, please, and these are requests. These are requests from somebody who's seen friends disappear when they're not streaming on the platform. I've seen people just leave. And we ask this as a request. Now, we understand life gets in the way. We understand you might not want to be around. We get it. Please don't lose contact with us. Please don't go missing for too long. We worry about you. We don't want you to leave. And on the flip side of that, content creators that don't quit, but your friend does, don't rub it in your face when you're like, oh yeah, by the way, I got 30 viewers last night. Don't do that on the opposite side of the coin. That continues the problem of, hey, by the way, you're a failure because guess what I did? Anybody that's your friend while you're all content creating, yes, you're kind of competing, but you're also networking. You're building relationships. You want to build each other up. If you're not building each other up, you're in the wrong stream team. You're in the wrong community. Because if you're not building each other up, if you're just competing against each other, then that's really not helpful to anybody. Because just competing, then it's like you're willing to stab that person in the back in my eyes. I guess if that makes sense. And now you might just be a competitive person. And that's fine. I'm not looking for extremes here. I guess that's where I'm trying to cover all my bases because I'm like, oh man, what if somebody says this in the comment? But you know what? That's neither here nor there. If you're a content creator and your buddy quits, don't rub it into the fact that they quit. Don't rub it in your success. Don't do any of that. Because that person that decided that they can't do it, they can't go under the stress, more than likely feels like they failed everybody in their community and every single one of their friends. And that is not fair to them just because they didn't want to go down this path, or they felt like they could not go down this path, that this path did not work for them. Because that's okay. Some of those people are the strongest people you will meet because they realize looking down the line, this is not for me. I'm going to find what is for me so I can excel there instead of wasting my time and energy here. Those people are strong and you need to keep them around. Those are the people that will tell you like it is. But content creators, do not push those people away. Do not make your friend feel like a failure because guess what? They're not streaming anymore. They don't want to stream. And you don't even have to bring it up that they're not streaming anymore. You don't even have to talk about it. If they bring it up, go for it. Talk about it. Great. Have a nice conversation. Sip on some tea. It'll be a good time. But if they don't bring it up, don't talk about it. Just don't. Because that person probably feels like a failure. They feel like they did not do what they wanted to do. Like they pushed so hard. They grinded. They streamed for 6 hours. They talked their butt off. They got 7 colds and took 6 days off of work. All of those things. They pushed their butt to the brink. They walked themselves to the front doors of heck and said, I got to turn back because I can't make it down this next one. And the fact that they decided that it was not their time to fight that battle is okay. It is completely okay. And I suggest, no, that's it. It's okay that they chose not to do it. Don't make them feel like a failure. Don't boast. If they ask about your success, if they ask how things are going, awesome. If you're still like really close friends with the person and you want to talk about it, wait until they're ready. Okay? So that's what I want to say to the content creators out there that have lost somebody to not content creating anymore. Because it's hard to have a friend that you go and you watch and you hang out and you play games with 3 nights a week, and then they just stop. And they're gone. They just disappear. And it sucks. But it might not have been for them. And that's okay. And they don't need to feel bad because of that. On the flip side, person who decided to quit, please do not disappear from your content creator friends. They miss you. They love you. They liked that they played games with you. Now, they might need to learn a little bit of when not to say something like, oh my gosh, I got 40 followers. No, don't. They need to learn and give them the patience. The path you chose was different, and that's respectable and fine. And I appreciate you choosing that and having that. Because Lord knows I've thought about it hundreds of times of if I stopped. And I chose not to. And that's fine. You chose to. I honestly think you made the smarter decision at the end of the day. Because I look at a lot of the stress I put myself through and I ask myself if it's all worth it. So I respect the people that have the realization to go, this is not for me. But we don't want to lose you in our lives. We care about you. We love you. We don't want you to disappear. So we just ask, please don't disappear. And maybe, just maybe, if you're willing, still be one of our viewers. Doesn't mean you have to. I want to preface that. Like, I feel like there's a lot of these things where I'm saying and it's like, oh, he's telling them that they gotta go view. No. The request is that we still get to see you. Because for me, I work until 4 o'clock every single day. I come home, have an hour to 2 hours to relax and eat dinner, and then I stream. That means I have free time of about 10 hours per work week. And I work, if I consider streaming as if it's a second job, a total of 70 plus hours. And then making content on the side and stuff like that, it adds up. It's 70 to 80 hours of a week with a full-time job, and you're doing basically 2 full-time jobs. It's a lot of work. And so it's hard for us to be able to go out and see you because the spot where we used to see you all the time, you're not there. And so we just ask that you would come back every once in a while, play a game with us, and we both understand at the end of the day, we need to be more intentional with messages. I need to send you more, you need to send me more. And I'm not directing this at an exact person. I'm making a person up right now, just so you guys are aware. But just to be able to talk and be like, hey, you know what? Let's play a game tonight. I'm probably going to be live, but I want this to be a game where you and I can play. We hang out. Yeah, I'm going to talk to chat, but it's about you. It's about you and me doing this. And that's a thing that I think that a lot of people that were content creators that chose not to be anymore, I've seen a decent number go down that path. I've seen a decent number not change anything that they do, and they just continue to go everywhere, but they just don't stream. And that's fine too. It really just depends on the person. Now, that entire ramble is gone, and I appreciate everything for it, and I appreciate if you're still around listening. Now, I want to talk to you guys about how to viewer and how to be a viewer and how to support and everything like that. Now, I understand. Now, this is also for the fact of content creators need to understand how to be a good viewer. And one of those things is do not self-promote yourself in other people's chats. If a person goes, hey, how'd your stream go? Or how have streams been? Yes, it's respectful to answer. You're not breaking any cardinal rules. But if you walk in and go, man, I just had 20 viewers and 15 follows. I'm having a pretty great night. How about you shout me out? That makes you look like a tool. And I understand you're like, oh, but I'm network. No, you're not. You look like a jerk. You're basically saying, hey, my party's better than yours. Come on out to it. Now, there is a couple of schools of thought. There's some people that are like, I still shout them out because the people that are true viewers of mine aren't going to leave. And that's very true. The thing is, those people are few and far between, and I respect the crap out of them because they have the balls to actually go and say, it's okay, because they're breaking the mold. The social trend is that you don't do that. I generally am indifferent. Usually one of my mods takes care of it because it's a socially unacceptable thing to do. At the end of the day, it doesn't really bug me. If anything, it just makes me feel awkward and I'm just not really sure what to say and I just let it go. But it does let people shout themselves out and stuff like that. Now, of course, I'm still going to make jokes about somebody coming in and they just created their account and they're like, hey, can I get a follow? Like, yeah, that's just funny to me. But I also try to take every single one of those times and let people know, hey, I want you to know it might not be great to self-promote. It's cool that you're doing this stuff. Let's get to know each other first. Which is a great way to go about it too. It really just depends. It's on you. But that is a social construct. So you don't walk in as a streamer and go, hey, by the way, haha, I want you to shout me out. Don't do that. Just don't. Be humble. It's okay. If somebody asks how your stuff's going, ask is how your journey is going. Tell them. But if they don't bring it up. It's their party. Let them run it how they want to run it. Another thing I should throw out for streamers is also try, well, you know what? We talked about it in the follow problem. If you guys didn't watch the last episode, go watch that. Go listen to that. We talk about follow for follow. We talk about some stuff. And the only thing to add on to it is to avoid hashtags like support small streamers. Because some of those things, it shows a hollowness in the community, and that it basically looks like you're looking at a number that doesn't matter, because follow number at the end of the day doesn't matter. It's community interaction. And if you think that your follow number defines who you are as a content creator, you're wrong. If you think your views define you, you're kind of wrong. Companies care about your stuff. Twitch and Mixer, they care about how many views. But if you're truly like looking to do content creation, it doesn't matter how many years it takes for you to get there, but if you building a solid base of a community and actually building people up and building a group together, that's going to be more beneficial to you in the long run. Now, those people also have to, I guess, understand how to work in a chat. And so people have asked me before while I'm streaming, how can I support you? Well, here are some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways to support a streamer you love. So we're moving just so we're clear on my train of thought. Content creators that have stopped being content creators and have disappeared from the platform. Here's might be some helpful ways to turn back into a viewer and to get back into those communities. People that are just getting onto platforms for the first time, you like found this podcast randomly and you're like, oh my God, I love watching video games. Here are some ways to go and help people out and to support the people that you think are really good content creators. First and foremost, just lurk. If you don't know what lurking is a weird term. It basically means sitting there and doing nothing. You don't talk and you just watch. I am a professional lurker. I will go in, I will have 10, 15 tabs open on a night, and I will just watch. I'll just check around, I'll watch people, I'll just give them their stuff, and I just support from afar, and I don't talk. Mostly because I still have some social anxiety about meeting new people, but that's just me. So lurking is a great way to go about it. Next is hosting or sharing on Facebook. So if you host it, your channel then puts it into the algorithm that helps to possibly get features, pop up higher in directories, more discoverability. Sharing does the same thing on Facebook, only it happens to be more effective because there's a better algorithm on Facebook. So basically, if you share, I had 10 people share a stream, and 1,000 people can now see my stream because they've shared it on their timeline, and hundreds of people can scroll past it. That's awesome. That's another great way that you can go and support another person. The next step up from that would be shouting them out on a social media post, which is another great way. You might have some friends that see your social media, and so you want to post it on out there, like on a Twitter or on an Instagram. Tag the streamer. I love seeing those things when somebody's like, hey, by the way, Kill streaming, go check them out. I'm just like, that warms my heart. It warms my heart to know that somebody's out there and wants to do that. So it makes the streamer feel good. And they'll probably recognize your name a little bit more. So that way, if you want to get close to somebody, you want to really get to know them, you want to be friends, that might be a way to do it. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that that's a good way to do it, because the person will recognize your name, but if you're being annoying about it, then that's going to have adverse effects than what you want. So just be real. Be real. Don't be fake. Don't be trying to do stuff to get somebody to notice you. Just be you. And if you're supposed to be friends with that person, you'll be friends with that person. Talk on their tweets. Do stuff like that. Those are small ways of support. Then when you're in a stream, the other big thing you can do, and this is probably one of the biggest things you can do to help somebody out, talk. I can kid you not. I would rather have 2 active viewers. I would rather have 1 active viewer than 20 viewers who are not saying a word. I feel like I have better nights streaming when I'm streaming to 3 people concurrently, having a night of a concurrence of 3, but those people are engaged in conversation with me. The night flies by and I stream for 4 or 5 or 6 hours without even realizing it. Whereas if I have gotten a massive host from somebody, I have 30 plus people in my chat and none of them are talking, it's hard. We need help sometimes. Sometimes we just need people to be there a little bit to liven us up. We feed off energy. That's what a lot of us do. We feed off the energy of chat. If chat's dead, well, we're kind of dead. Just the way it is. We could have 70 people watching us, and if we're not talking to anybody, it's hard. It gets hard for us. So the next step, if you're willing to do it, would be to talk. Then the only thing up there would be monetarily. Now, monetarily, look, if they're hiding their stuff behind a paywall, you probably don't want to be around that person in the first place. I'm just saying, and I'm not meaning I'm not meaning OnlyFans or Patreon content. That's not what I mean at all. I do not mean that. That content is completely fair to go do whatever they're doing with that content. What I mean is, if you're having somebody who, I don't know, it's so weird because when you get to a certain size, I guess it's a smaller streamer thing, a smaller content creator thing versus a bigger, because I also understand that if you have hundreds of viewers, if you're averaging 300, 400 viewers, you might only want to do sub only, and that's completely fine. Which makes it tough, I guess, because you have to find the right line. But people that hide video content, let me put it that way. Not necessarily playing with subs or something like that, because that may not necessarily be content. That's just hanging out with your community. But if they hide YouTube videos, if this, you would never see this podcast unless you spend $5. That's the kind of stuff I find a little bit more sketchy. Now extra things, extra little tidbits, specialized videos, specialized greetings cards, stuff like that would be considered Patreon content, completely understandable. I'm not going to write a thank you note to every single one of my viewers. That doesn't make sense. But if I had people who are subbed on Patreon, I might send them an e-card every month and say, hey, thanks for the support. So it's a different level. And I guess it's hard to really understand and differentiate it at first. But I think people kind of understand it when they see it, is like, you're not hiding any content behind a paywall. I think, and a good example, I think Rooster Teeth does a really good example of this, because Rooster Teeth first lets you get content sooner. You can still watch it. It just comes out a week later for those that don't have first. People that have first, they get to see it a week beforehand. That's an amazing system. People that want to see it really quickly, those top people, they're going to find the budget and they're going to support it. You might be a great person and love the stuff and you don't want to miss out on any videos. And most of their videos, there are a couple first exclusives, but most of their videos are very accessible without having to have any money paid, which is awesome. And all you have to do is follow their YouTube and it shows up on their YouTube a week after it came out. So there's those things too. And I don't know. It's a very weird line, because once you get past a certain amount of following, you want to do something to incentivize and to thank the people that are donating and supporting you that way. And you want to give them special content. And I think that's different than having main content be hidden. I guess if that makes sense. Like, I would not go and stream on Twitch and let it only be for subs. To me, that feels a little weird. I wouldn't want my regular viewers to not be able to watch just because they didn't pay. Because they still support by lurking and talking and hosting and shouting me out and stuff like that on social media. So, like, I wouldn't want to do that. But I see having bonus content that you have created because those people have been able to do that stuff is a little different. And it's a very fine line, I guess. So that's a little bit of a tangent. I think it's still necessary, but it was a tangent. So this is all just leading up to the next step is to sub, if you will, like, which is paying a monthly subscription fee or donating money monetarily. Most of which I don't think any content creator should ever require of you to play or watch their content that is their mainstream content. Not bonus content, but their mainstream content. And it's something that is literally the top of the list because it's the most optional way of support. And then the other thing that you need to understand, though, this is a stipulation. If you give somebody money, that does not mean that they owe you anything. Just so we're all aware, just because you donate me $10 does not mean I'm going to send you a picture of my kneecap and that I have to. Just because you donate me $7 does not mean I have to play a round of Apex with you. I appreciate that you wanted to donate, but that does not mean that I have to do something with you. And I think that that's something that is also needs to be taken care of with understanding as a viewer. You should not expect something by supporting. Now, you just shouldn't. You shouldn't expect somebody to give you something because you support them. Because 9 times out of 10, you're probably just going to get a thanks. And that's just kind of how it is. I think that's kind of fair, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my butt. Maybe I'm crazy. And you know what? If you have a different opinion than me, I want you to talk to me, not argue with me and be like, "Kill, you're wrong." Talk to me. I'd like to talk to you. Maybe you know, maybe you'll get lucky enough that I pull you on the podcast and we actually have a conversation back and forth about it. Because I'd love to. I think that that's a great thing to open up as well. I want to have that discourse. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? The other thing, the last thing I want to talk about. So we talked about, just to reiterate, if you've stayed this long and you're like, what have I done in the past 30 minutes? What is he going on about? This is the longest podcast he's on. Why is he crazy? We've talked about if you're cut out or not for content creating and what should you do on either side of the coin. We've talked about how to support as a viewer. You can lurk, host, post on social media, talk, or monetarily support with donations or subscriptions. But the biggest thing is that when you've gotten involved and the streamer looks at you and knows you by name, you guys have nicknames for each other, all these things. When you get to that point and they're extremely happy to see you and you decide to not come back, please keep in contact. This is especially something I've noticed more in smaller communities, and it's something I wanted to bring up, is that we will we'll worry about you guys. There's plenty of viewers that I'll reach out to after a couple of months of not hearing from them because they just never showed up again, and I reach out and I'm going, how are things? Because I worry about people. I worry about people that I get close to. And so this is me asking as I guess as who I am, is that I hope I get to hear from you again, even if you decide that you've outgrown my content, which is fine. Maybe my content was great for you when you were in high school, and now you're in college and you're like, nah, this dude's a little too weird. That's fine. Just keep in contact. Let me know how you're doing. I want to know, like, have you graduated? Have you done these things? Because I can think of a couple people right now in my head that I really hope they're doing well, and that I'm sad that I don't get to see them as much as I did. Because I care about them. I've grown to love them as family, because that's a big thing for me is growing authentic relationships with people. And so it's hard when somebody just disappears and never shows up again. And we do love you. We do care about you. Most of us should. If we don't, then you probably shouldn't come back anyway. So I understand that. But as a whole, we care about you. We want to know how you guys are doing. We care about that stuff. So that's just more of a request. Most of this stuff is requests for people, because I think the big thing, and I was talking with another streamer today, and the biggest thing is that there's just a lot of kindness that has disappeared, and a lot of things that just maybe misinformed and misunderstood intentions and stuff. And people want to let you know that they still care about you, even if they're excited about their stream and they're not recognizing that you don't stream anymore and it hurts because they're doing so well and you couldn't. Or maybe you don't show up anymore and they're hurt by that. And I think it's a big thing of this year is just being intentional and understanding those things. And also understanding that we're human. So I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you guys did, please share it, talk about it, send me a message about it. My Facebook DMs, my Instagram DMs, and my Twitter DMs are all open. I would love to get to talk to you guys, and get to know about what you guys think and talk to you guys about that more. But that all being said, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys have a safe drive or run or whatever you're doing to listen to this. Stay awesome. Do great things. I'll talk to you guys next time. Adios.